So, huge win, like I talked about yesterday. Um, the adults are back in charge, almost. And what that does is it makes me feel like optimistic about the future. It makes me think like if I try to build something, I might actually be able to receive benefit from my hard-earned labor instead of just like basically surviving, like maybe my work will actually mean something for me instead of like having to fund foreign people or just it's fund foreign wars. Trump is already talking to Putin apparently to try to stop that war between Ukraine and Russia, and that's what he should be doing. There's the Hamas basically doesn't want war anymore. So like, yeah, this is called peace through strength, because they know that the Democrats are weak, and they don't know what they're doing. They're just like children. So the Democratic Party needs to be reformed, and I don't like to label myself, but I'm doing it because I think it's appropriate right now. I look at myself as like, I would be labeled as a classical liberal. That's what I'd be labeled as. I've been a huge Trump supporter since 2015. I'm continue to be a huge Trump supporter. I'm completely excited that they won. They embarrassed the Democrats completely, which was much needed because the Democrats are completely out of touch with reality, obviously. When you're just like pushing forward these celebrities that nobody cares about, these washed up celebrities. I guess some people, but like, who cares about them? Who cares about their opinion? That I don't relate to these people. Like Christina Applegate just basically said, I'm gonna go back to my bubble now. Yeah, because like, you rich people are insulated from the destruction that you cause for the rest of us. We have to deal with their horrible policies, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I think that I hope the Epstein list gets released right away. I hope the JFK files get released right away. I hope we see major progress and major, if there is crimes that have been committed, needs to be investigated, and people need to be held accountable. If you're a Democrat and you're talking about democracy, you should want free, fair elections. You should want elections that don't give an advantage to either side. That's the problem. The Democrats, if they want to compete with the Republicans, so what's probably going to happen is, I claim to be a Democrat now, and these people will reject me for sure, and that's fine. They can reject me because I'm still a Trump supporter. I'm still going to vote for the Republicans, unless they show me different. But yeah, it's like they need to be more pro-Constitution, which they should be. They need to go back to what they used to be, what they stood for. RFK pointed this out plenty in his speech. They used to actually care about people. They act like they care about people, but they really don't. They just care about power. So when you only care about power, you are the problem. And Trump, this like the deflection. I'm not talking about Trump anymore. I'm talking about the Democratic Party needs to be completely reformed. The leaders need to be completely purged. they need to be primaried. And if the Republicans, the MAGA movement, which really hasn't supported me too much, they haven't really propped me up. Nobody brought me on their podcast. Nobody's like giving me a platform to speak on. So I highly doubt like they will try to support me to primary Democrats. But it's cool. I'm happy. I'm happy for the youth. I'm especially happy for young men. I think we're gonna see some huge changes coming up. I think that, like I was telling my kid, man, you actually can build for your future now. You can actually build something for yourself. Economically wise, we need to make things cheaper for ourselves. We need to make things better for us. Our dollar needs to go farther for us. That's what needs to happen. And this political thing, like, it should just be like, we don't need to get, we need to reject on both sides the extremists. The extremists shouldn't, but the problem with like how pluralized. Sometimes I can't speak words. And it's funny because I can other times. Polarized. Our political. It's because the Democrats have went so far left. Now the Republicans can go really far right, and that'd be a major problem. That's why it's good for the Democrats to reform their party. Like I said, they'll probably get embarrassed again in 2026, and I don't see them unless like Trump goes in there and they are everything that they said that he was, which he's not. I disagree highly with that. I think that let's see, what was I going off that? I highly doubt. So I just see like a good 12 years of Republican power, MAGA power. That's what I see. A good 12 years of it. And I think that's a good thing. I think we're going to see a lot of peace. I think we're going to see a lot of prosperity for us. And I think that we're going to be able to shed our prosperity onto other countries, and they can learn from us and do the same thing like us. We don't need no censorship. Sometimes you need censorship for sure. Like, it's not appropriate for people to just be like saying cuss words out in public because there's kids out here, man. So like sometimes there's appropriate, like, you can't, free speech isn't absolute, man. You can't just go around intimidating people and stuff like that and expect nothing to happen. Threatening violence. But Democrats and Republicans should both agree on the Constitution. That should be like the thing that brings them together. I don't understand why the Democratic Party is about censorship, anti-gun, and there are certain elements on the right who are like anti-women voting. Like, dude, not getting rid of the 19th, so people need to shut the hell up about that. Like, that's just a dumb thing, especially when you've seen all these dudes out here. Like, it's not a sex thing, it's a propaganda thing. That's what it is. It's a brainwashing thing, and that needs to be eliminated. And I think that mainstream media needs to pass away, and we need to move on from it. I think there's a great opportunity for. I don't see many superstars on the left. I really don't, and I think that there could be prominent figures that emerge, and maybe RFK goes back to the left and becomes a Democrat again, and Elon as well. You know, people are probably like, why are you a Democrat now? Why don't you just like celebrate? Because my goal is to, like, the regular person shouldn't have to worry about this crap. shouldn't have to worry about, oh, we're gonna go off a cliff. Shouldn't have to like, they should be worried about their families. They should be worried about taking care of themselves. They should be worried about building themselves up. And they shouldn't have to be worried about all these, you know, like the government becoming tyrannical. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that's where the Democrats are headed. And when you get power hungry and stuff like that, and you're ego driven, that's what happens. And these people are losing their ability for, they didn't really live in reality. A lot of these people don't live in reality, and that's why the Democratic Party needs somebody like me. They need more people like me who will bring logic and reason. And like I said, these people are going to reject me because I don't believe all their woke crap, and I think that needs to be gone. Dude, if you're going to transition, go ahead. Like, who cares? Like, why are you making, like, just this, you're just trying to make a spectacle of yourself when announcing it to everyone. Like, if you're trying to, like, if you think that you're a female or whatever, you're transitioning, like, why are you trying to look like a dude, like, with a beard? And you shouldn't want that attention. You know what I mean? And it's just unreasonable, and these people are narcissistic, and they just want attention any way they can get it. Just like all these people on the left who are making these videos having meltdowns, and some of them are humorous, but a lot of people make them because they get traction, and yeah, they get traction, so they get rewarded. That's what it is. It's so social media, I think, it's kind of like, it's a way of fame, and it can mess with people's head, thinking that they're more powerful than they really are. They're more famous than they really are. I think that if you're just going to be a regular person, I would probably just stay away from social media. And if you're going to have like the Facebook type of thing, like, have it just for your family or whatever, like that, not letting other people in to your private, you know, just have close people. You don't want to have like a ton of friends, or like having ex-boyfriends or girlfriends. No, you just want, like, hey, we're just using this platform to share. We're busy in our own lives, and here we're just sharing. That's how it should be used. Not try to get us famous, get like famous or whatever like that. No, it's like, I'm a regular person, and I want to use this, and I don't want more people that I don't even know to try to like interfere with my life, whether it's like temptation or any of that, especially like with women. Like, I would say avoid it if you want to have a good family. If women talk about like putting their kids first, and you really mean that, well, then you want to use less social media and actually care about your kids first, care about your relationships. But a lot of it is, I want clout, I want attention, and you know, I can sound like a hypocrite, but here's the thing, like, for me, yes, I want the clout, I want the attention, I do, because I think like what I say, like, it actually, and I'm not always right, but I have good ideas. I'm not out here like, yes, I would like to have power, I would like to have that type of thing, but my kids are raised, okay, so I kind of would like to make a difference somewhere. But if you can't make a huge difference if you're like trying to raise your family and have a relationship with your husband and family and friends, and like, oh, I'm trying to change the world too. Like, that's just too much. Maybe you have to work a second job. Maybe you have to work a job too. So you're not a stay-at-home mom or whatever. Like, I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna see a lot of women, they're coming down to reality. They're gonna realize that I didn't lose my rights. I can go move to another state, or if something does happen, unplanned pregnancy, you know, I can take the plan B or whatever, or I can go to another state and get help. If you know, if a baby needs to be removed because it's hindering a woman's health, obviously you're gonna have to do what you gotta do to save the woman's life. This is where I put the woman's life first. The woman's life always comes first before the baby, because like the baby's not even here yet. So you want to try to save them both, but if you can't, you want to save the mom first. Like I said this before, like you have to, because she wanted to have other kids, or she could have other kids, and then who's going to take care of that baby if she passes away? I mean, something happens, you know, pregnancies where the mom passes away, there's nothing you can do about it. But because they keep on bringing up this rare thing that they just think that happens, it's just because it's just a talking point to try to like scare people. Like my thing is, why would people want to get abortions anyway? Like, what? That's something that you should not want. Why would you want to put yourself in that position? I don't know if this woman was joking. Probably was a joke, but she's like, I've had 88 of them. It's like, if you've had 88 abortions, I'm sorry. There needs to be some kind of like, you have some issues, and you probably shouldn't be ever getting pregnant. You should get a hysterectomy at some point. Like if you're just gonna be like that, you're just basically having them to have them. That just seems like a ridiculous number. But if that is true, or even close to it, like I can't imagine, like the effects of having a miscarriage on a woman is huge. And then like, how could you like just be like cool with like being irresponsible? Because that's where most of them come through, is irresponsibility on both sides. But at the end of the day, you control. Most women can, unless some man violates it, but that's a rare thing, okay? It does happen, and those men need to be dealt with for sure, because that should not be happening. So where was I going with that? Yeah, it's just pretty much, it's ridiculous. Like your number one thing is abortion. Like, out of everything, open borders, we're just gonna let anyone come over, making it more expensive for us, taking more of our money, causing more inflation so my dollar goes less, making it harder for me to live, harder for me to survive. But like I said, these rich people, they don't understand. They don't have to feel it. They have a bunch of resources to insulate them from the inflation, so they don't care. So that's what this was about, rich versus poor. And people, oh, look at Elon's gonna get tax breaks and Trump is gonna get, like, these celebrities that endorsed Kamala are rich as hell, man. And all these huge corporations that are leftist corporations, woke corporations, they support her. So like, I don't understand what they're talking about by giving their buddy tax breaks. And besides, Trump could have, I've said this before, he didn't partake in the greatest wealth transfer ever. And he could have easily, by never being president, or actually running as a Democrat. The problem with the Democratic Party is they have a bunch of children or people who are sold out to the system, to the machine, that are in charge. And these people need to be removed. They need to be primaried. Nancy Pelosi needs to be gone. Any of these old boomers need to be replaced. Your time is up. I understand Trump is a boomer. I don't like his age. I think he's very necessary for right now. He's very necessary. And if something happens to Trump, I really like J.D. Vance. I think that he will do a good job leading the country. So this whole notion of, like, we need a lot of these, like Chuck Schumer, all these people need to go, man. And I'll run as I'll primary one of these Democrats. I need support though. That's the thing, is I need support. There's no if the MAGA were smart, they would support people like me to primary these Democrats, because guess what? I'm not sold out. I will work with them. I have logic, I have reason. I'm an adult. And I'll do is what's best for American people. The Democrats need to abandon the whole racist crap, misogynistic crap. They need to abandon all that crap. They need to be more for, like I said, the Constitution. Stop all the censorship. Stop all the woke stuff. If you want to, like, be called a certain pronoun, I don't have to partake in that, dude. I don't have to. If you want to be called a dragon, and I don't want to call you that. If you want to call yourself Jeff Bezos, why do I have to go along with that? I don't have to, and that's the problem. If you want to live like that and you want to think that you're this and that, go ahead, but I don't have to go along with the insanity, because that's what it is, insanity. And these Democrats think that everyone should have to go along with it. I could literally just be like, I'm changing my pronouns daily. That's what I could be like. And then, like, I'm offended because you're not going along with my daily pronoun. I'm gender fluent. I'm pronoun fluent. Like, it's just utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. And trying to force your beliefs on other people is just, leaving things up to the states is a huge thing to keep things decentralized as much as possible. Of course, we need, like, federal laws for sure that go across the board, but we need to have them limited. And the funny thing is, I heard they were joking, like the whole thing, they're joking, they're just like trolling, and I've partaked in this too, about 2025, like, when are we gonna implement it now? It's so stupid. Like, listen, man, the Project 2025, there's some good things, but there's, like, some bad things too. So MAGA is pretty much, we don't agree with it. Some people do. Like I said, there's some good things in there when it comes to, like, government restrictions, cutting government bloat, government spending, things of that nature, having less government. We need to have a smaller government that's more pragmatic. Because when it becomes too big, you have to go through all these different, like, bureaucrats and this and that. You have to go. It's just like you have all these different mid-managers at work or whatever, and it's just like, okay, you have to go through this person, and they have to talk to this person. No, it should be like, hey, listen, this is a problem. Is this a big deal? Go right to the source. Go right to the leader. Shouldn't have to go through all these people just to get to the, you know what I mean? Obviously, like, every little problem, you're not gonna go for it, but we have AI that just did different, to help out in that type of scenario. So the Democratic Party needs to be severely reformed to, like I said, hold the Republicans accountable in the future if they do become tyrannical. But the Democrats need to stop being weak and soft, and they need to accept people like me that reject all their woke crap and the DEI crap. Oh, that's racist. So this, like, it's got to stop with that crap, with, like, talking to people like that. You can't do that. You can't keep attacking people. Especially when people, they're just kind of like regular people that aren't. And it's just like, they just want to be left alone. And you're attacking them and like putting them out to be some type of like bad guy when they're not. They just want to live their life, man. They just want to enjoy their time on this planet. Okay, as much as possible. They don't need you impressing them, and that's what the Democratic Party has become, is the party of oppressing people. That's what they want. They want us all in the system. So I might sound insane, which is fine, and I'm a futurist, and I've been supporting Trump since 2015, and I'm going to continue to support him. I'm really excited about. I'm really optimistic, and I haven't been optimistic for a long time. I'm not black pilled at all anymore. And do I think that bad things are going to happen? Sure. I think we're going to have some economic hardships that we're going to have to go through so we can get to the prosperity. We have to taste our medicine. We have to go to like recession. We have to go through our recession. I think they've been holding that back. We have to. These booms and busts need to stop. We don't have to always be like going up like. But it needs to be like these radical shifts in our society need to quit. These huge bubbles, like just flooding the market full of money. So people have all this money that they just like go ahead and just waste on stupid crap. I'm really excited about the adults being back in charge. And like I said, if the Democrats were smart, they will want to start taking people like me and putting us in positions, because we actually have some intelligence, we actually have some critical thinking, we actually have like, we're very pragmatic, and we don't just like go along with the sheep. We don't just go along and conform. So like with leaders, if you're a leader and something's not working, you have to change it. You don't just keep going along with it. And then if it doesn't work, you just like forcing it. Like, you know that little kid game where you have like these shapes and you're trying to put it in the same shape thing? Well, if you're trying to force a triangle in a circle place and you're just like forcing, and I'm going to take a hammer, like, you're going to end up breaking something. And that's what the Democrats are basically have been doing. These aren't the same people that I was supporting when I was younger. And all you got to say is like they're pro-war and pro-censorship, and these people actually want to be locked down. Why do you want to be locked down? Because you don't want to be around other people. Now, why is that? And that's because of, here it is, the family structure has been completely decimated here in America, and it has caused division. So we have to make families great again. We should make the Democratic Party great again. We should make everything great again here in America. We could take the shit that doesn't work and fucking throw it away, and take the stuff that does work and implement it. You don't just like, I'm gonna generally take this thing and not be pragmatic and try to force it to work, breaking this and that. That's dumb. The American people have voiced their opinion. The Democrats got utterly embarrassed. All their propaganda they've been putting out, saying that Trump is Hitler, saying that the Republicans are Hitler. All this stupid crap is a bunch of bullshit. They are deceivers at this point. They're trying to be like, oh, look at Walz. Like, he came out, oh, I'm so... The funniest thing was when Kamala was trying to act like she was talking to one of her voters, on the phone, and this was like the day of the election or the day before, and then like she showed everybody the phone, and she had her camera on, so she wasn't even talking to anybody. Like these people are absolutely fake, you know. And the fact that they couldn't go on Joe Rogan or any like, you can't go on Joe Rogan, really. That's probably a huge reason why you got destroyed. Not even Tim Walz. If you want to be like, I'm the vice president, I don't have time for that, that's fine. But not even Tim Walz going on the Joe Rogan Experience? Are you kidding me? Why? Because these people can't talk without a script. They don't have any type of pragmatic thought of their own. They have no ability to critical think. They're up there as puppets, reading a script, going with the narrative, not like they're pushing some type of agenda, and all they care about is power. That's all it is. And it's pretty much, I'm wondering if Tim even believes in the things that that's what makes me wonder about these Democrats. Like, do they even believe anything that they say? Or is this just like, hey, this actually makes sense from the conservative or Republicans, but since they're Republican or conservative, I'm going to go against it just because I want to rebel against it. Like, what? But your policy now hurts all of these people. I don't care. I'm going to go against the Republic. Like, that's their attitude. Anything like the Republicans or the conservatives go ahead and like say that they support, the Democrats automatically come out and take the opposing view, even if it makes them look stupid, because they just want to always be opposed. Like that's radical crap, and those radicals need to be kicked out of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has had a lot of black eyes in the they've had a lot of bad things that they've done traditionally. Have they changed? Sure. Possibly, hey, listen, what happens if I become like the superstar of the Democratic Party? And then guess what? One day they turn back to this crap that they've been doing. I don't know. But I see an opening. I see a lot of these Democrats. Like, if you just look at all the leaders on the right now, all the prominent leaders, they're like, dude, they're not even like conservative. They're not even conservative. Like, do you think Elon Musk says he's he might say he is for right now, or he was saying it, but like, he's not a Republican. Are you fucking kidding me? Joe Rogan's not a Republican. These people are liberals. You know? That's what I am. That's what I've always been. Even though, like, I like a lot of the things conservatives say, okay? But there's a lot of things that I don't agree with, and I've pretty much been holding my nose because, like, they haven't been, like, watch. Here's a golden opportunity to take people in their party who could potentially be superstars for the Democrats. I'm just going to use myself, even though, like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But, like, there's people like me who are basically, they're not conservative, but they support you. And if we became a Democrat, if you helped us by funding us, by supporting us to primary these horrible Democrats, their horrible leadership, like, this polarization, these people on the left are easily conformists. Like, they will conform. So if there starts to become a movement in the Democratic Party to be more how it used to be more like MAGA, to be more like, hey, I'm pragmatic, I have logic, I have reason, I'm an adult, it's time for you guys to go to bed. You don't just get to stay up and as late as you want anymore. It's time for bed. And if people wonder what's wrong with women, there's no accountability for women nowadays, and that's why they're so gung-ho about abortion, because they don't want to be accountable for their choices. And a lot of men still don't and this is where the feminist in me I kind of like pretend to be. I used to be a full-blown feminist, but the reason why I say I'm a feminist, because like until these women understand how being a man isn't just about, oh, you get all the glory if you work hard. You can't just like sit here and coast off the coattails of somebody else and not have to, and be completely shielded from all the bad things that happen and be propped up like DEI type of crap. And then like there's no consequences for your actions. Why would these people are going to act up? There needs to be consequences for their actions. Men need to let women, if they want to be strong and independent, let them feel the whole pain of how it feels to be a man. Because being a man is hard as hell, man. Nobody gives a damn about you. And if that's how they want to be, then let them. Unless you're a man with status, has money, influence, whatever, like nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. You know what I mean? Like maybe my kids or whatever, but like when you become a man, nobody cares about you unless you can provide them value. And that's just how it is. Women's value is completely different from men. And if women would actually start embracing being a mom, they might actually be a lot happier. You know, could you imagine like you got your husband, you got your family, you get your family night, you're all spending time together, instead of like what's happening now is like females are all by themselves. They might have their dogs or cats and they just have some like stud that comes around once a week or once every couple of weeks and just like has this way with her and like, see ya, I'm out, thanks. Like that's their affection. Instead of actually having a decent man on your sexual market value, you know, give you attention. Wait, what was I going with that? Oh, yeah. Like, actually care about you. Like, cuddle you, hold your hands, kiss you. You know, those types of things that couples do, that people do to show affection for each other. They might actually get that. And it's just like realizing you're not Kim Kardashian. You're just a regular person. Some of you might, you know, be like that. But most women will never, ever, ever reach that. Just like me. I'm never going to reach a place of prominence. You think they're going to look at me and I'm just going to be like a prominent figure in the Democratic Party going at some point? No. I'm just going to be a regular person. And another thing I want to say too is like, I'm so happy that Trump won, because I didn't want to go up and start breaking up relationships and marriages. I was upset. It's not an emotion, and I was dead serious about it. It's because with the Democratic leadership, there's such a lack of purpose for me at this point, when these people I can see where they're leading us right off a cliff. So I'm not going to continue to build, possibly to build some type of an empire, you know, or just like a good life for myself, when I'm not going to ever be able to get that, because we're just going to go off a cliff and everything I build is just going to be destroyed anyway. So like the only thing, like, if the Democrats retain power, I would have definitely like done whatever I planned to better myself either way, but it gave me more of a purpose to cause as much destruction to these people, because they're destroying my life. So like, I know that sounds bad, but I'm not a perfect angel, and I've always been the type that avoids married women, women in relationships. I'm not saying I've been perfect in that. I've messed around with a couple of women in relationships when I was inebriated or whatever, but I haven't been perfect. But I when I was dating, I only try to mess with single women, and that's it. So that's why I said that, and like I said, I was completely serious about it, if the Democrats retained power, I would have just had no other purpose on this planet than to ruin as much of their relationships as I possibly can. At this point, I'm not. Okay, now if I plan on just to, you know, build my life up as best as I can at this point, you know. And I feel very optimistic. I don't feel black pilled no more. I don't think we're going to go through a society of collapse anymore. So all that doomer crap, I feel very confident going forward. I'm hoping that Trump could go ahead and just totally get rid of nuclear weapons off the face of this planet. That would be amazing. Could you imagine that? No more threat of nuclear war. Could you? Like, that would be so cool. We don't have to worry about that crap. That's what we should be doing, is getting rid of nuclear weapons. And you know what the funny thing is? We're going to have to anyway, because apparently people are retiring and the next generation doesn't know how to maintain these weapons. So they're becoming, it's just kind of like, I guess NASA doesn't know how to get back to the moon. Kind of weird. Maybe they misplaced their blueprints or whatever, or their videos of how they made things or how they did things. I don't know. But they don't know how to get back to the moon. So at some point, people aren't going to be able to handle the old infrastructure because people aren't learning it. And it's so sophisticated. It's like, this is dumb. We don't need nuclear weapons. These rockets should be going to another planet. That's what these rockets should be. They shouldn't be going to destroy. They should be going to explore. And that's where we should be going. That's where we should be going as Americans, as humans, as using this capitalist system, which it really isn't a capitalist system we have in America. It's kinda, but it's not a fully capitalist system. Just using it as much as we can to get us to the point where we don't need human labor to do manual labor anymore, unless people want to do it. That's what we should get. Because most wars are fought over resources. That's what it is. Land is resources, so that's why people fight over land, because you get resources and you can start building off of that. So if humans had abundant resources and we didn't have to worry about it, what are we fighting over? Why am I going to be greedy? Like, I need all these abundance of whatever it is, I don't know, this food. And you just keep on like taking it, and it's like, why? It's abundant. Now what are you gonna do with it? Oh, it's just gonna go bad. Well, what's the point? What's the point of hoarding it? What's the point of hoarding resources? There'll be no point. It'll just be like, I need a little bit of this. Boom, boom, I'm good to go. Bam. And we can create some amazing things in the digital reality. That's what I think. And people need to have out of the digital reality as well. They need to be out in reality. In order for people to want to have kids and have families, they need to feel like this family is going to stay together. Me and my wife, or me and my husband, are going to stay together. Feel confident about it. We're not going to let anybody else come into our relationship. We're not going to split up. We're going to make sure that these kids have the best emotional, physical upbringing we can possibly have. Loving upbringing we can possibly have. That's how you get people to have kids. Because currently it's just like ridiculous. Both parents have to work. So where do you have time for the family? You don't have time for the family at all. And that needs to change. We need to get to the point where you don't have to have both parents working. Why is childcare so expensive? Because there's a huge demand for it. Well, you have all these parents that are at work. So if people made enough money where they didn't have to both work, or their basic needs are taken care of by robots or whatever, that's cool, man. Like, I don't like doing these manual labor jobs. I think that they're outdated. But I'm also like a futurist, so I don't live, it's hard for me to live in the present. And I've always been like that. I think of the future, you know, and I want it to be prosperous. I want it to be prosperous for everybody. We need to get past it. The big thing with the Democrats is you need to get past like calling everyone a racist for like the dumbest crap. Oh, they don't agree with you on this thing? Well, then they're racist. Well, all they did was like demean the meaning of racist. They watered it down so nobody cares. Like, call me a racist. Like, okay, I'm not, but I don't care what your opinion is of me. I know I'm not a racist. And I don't have to sit here and act like I'm not to you. I don't have to sit here and defend myself like, oh, dude, I'm not. I don't care. And that's where they have completely destroyed the meaning. I think that women, I think there's going to be a lot that conform coming up. I really do. I think there's going to be a change. I think that people need to try to get their kids out of the system and try to homeschool them as much as possible. I don't think the public school system is that good, especially in urban areas. So I don't think that I think the Democrats have shown that people can remote learn with the lockdowns that they had. People can remote work. So like, I definitely don't agree with, I think that you have to be like in person for certain things. Like, you have to be around other humans. Okay. So like, if you have a homeschooled kid, you're going to have them around kids, like set up play dates and stuff like that, or situations where you can't just have your kid isolated all the time. You know what I mean? So you have to have familiarity. So the kids need to have the same friends growing up, be around the same people. It needs to be kind of repetitive, honestly, just to keep them in line, because it causes discipline, and they have to have discipline. That's what it creates discipline. Being repetitive creates discipline, and a lot of people don't have that. They don't have. In fact, I lack discipline. But a lot, the military does a lot of really good. And another thing too is like with the military at this point, I feel a lot more better if I was to be a young person joining the military right now than I would be if Kamala was in there, or the Democrats. Isn't that weird? These people used to be anti-war. And they send like billions, like what? Like $200 billion to Ukraine to fight Russia. Like, why are we fighting Russia? That's so stupid. Like, we don't want to fight Russia. We don't want to fight China. We don't want to fight India. We don't want to fight anybody. We need to make things work for both of us. You know, that's what needs to be happening. We need to make things work for both of us. Some of the things that Trump is talking about dismantling and the financial system sounds great. And replacing with something that will help us become more prosperous. I think there's a lot of, I was watching this dude's video yesterday, and he was basically like, let me just get out of the way so I can go out and get things myself. And that's what we're seeing a lot of, is just like, you know how hard it is for me to want to work a bunch of hours just to be able to not have time and a half, because it basically, if I work 60 hours a week or 80 hours a week, and the government puts me on a different, dude, I'm working 80 hours a week, dude. You have to take that into account. Like, yeah, I should be rewarded for that. I shouldn't be put, like, if I'm just a regular person, and I'm working like that, stop taking my money. Seriously, stop taking my money. Because what that does is it demotivates me. If I'm like, I would rather have all my money like if I clock in, I see my money flowing into my bank account right there. Boom, boom. If I'm hourly or whatever, I see it flowing in. It'll give me motivation to want to stay longer. Oh man, I can make some more money. Boo, 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 boo. But it's demotivating when it's just like, whatever you do is just getting distributed to everybody else, basically. So it's like, why do I want to work? It's not, I think there's a lot of people that, you know, they just don't have the motivation to work. And I try to speak for these people, the young men. They're not motivated because women don't like them. They can't get anywhere because the government's in their way. It's not like we want to do these jobs. Nobody, like, most people don't want to go do these stupid jobs. People do these jobs because they have to do these jobs. So, like, people need to be compensated correctly. And they're not. They haven't been compensated correctly for a while. And you seem like worthy of going and doing jobs. Working. What am I building for? What are we building? Oh, you're working so we can send more money to Ukraine to fight Russia. And then after that, we're going to send your kids there. Like, no. Absolutely ridiculous. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Democrats were doing some type of money laundering with these lavish bills that are like trillions of dollars. Yes, Trump added to the debt. They're not lying. But when he added all that happened because of what? What happened at the end of his administration that caused him to do that, to want to do stimulus? Because they were paying people to stay at home. What happened? That I still can't talk about. Isn't that crazy? I can't talk about what happened in 2020 and 2021 on my channel. Because of YouTube, they want to go ahead and give me a strike. Like, how ridiculous is that? Like, put a community note. Like, why is it so hard to put a community note? You're just gonna ban me? Oh, 3 strikes are out. Like, we'll give you a strike if you have had this video up for like 5 years. But we changed our policies now, and you've had that video up, so now we're gonna give you a strike for it. It's like, what? Why? Isn't this called YouTube? Like me? Like my channel? Should be able to talk about whatever I want. Put an age restriction on it. Put a censorship on it. Put like something like, yes, like you gotta be 18 to watch my stuff. You gotta be 18 to process forward through to watch my content. Good, I don't want children watching my content anyway. I want adults, young adults, to watch my content. That's what I want. My content isn't made for little kids. So yes, my stuff should be somewhere else for adults. And they can do that. They just don't want to because they want to suppress me. They want to limit people's speech. And we're tired of it. America's spoken. The Democrats lost everything. They lost all the swing states, man. Absolutely decimated. They lost the majority of the Senate. Apparently they took the House back. I think they had the House anyway, but like, red wave, which should have happened 2 years ago, but it happened now, which is amazing. So I'm very, very excited, optimistic. I'm not doomer. I'm not black-pilled. I feel like I don't have to think about foreign foreign things as much. Regular Americans don't want to think about politics that much, man. We don't want to have that much of a vested interest in it. We want, like I said, the average American, I like listening to it. I like politics. I'm all politicked out. I know I'm still talking about it, but that's because we just had something huge. Like, dude, I want to get back to like, okay, the Detroit Lions are doing really good, man, dude. Like, they're the best. They're the best team in the land right now. They're the best team in the league. They're America's team. They're an underdog team that's never been to a Super Bowl. I want to start paying more attention to this. Let's pay more attention to sports. I shouldn't have to worry about corruption in the government. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be completely polarization. If I say the wrong thing, I'm fired at work. It's just like, dude, I mean, it's just dumb at this point. It's just dumb. So like, I want things to get to the point where we don't have any radicals in charge of the parties. It's the moderates. And the moderates control like how it was in the 90s. Just like, yeah, we don't agree on everything, but like for instance, like, since I'm a liberal, I don't have a religion. I do believe in a creator, but my beliefs are different than Christians, and they believe differently. So we can have those discussions. We don't have to think about girls playing in men's sports or whatever, like that. Any of this stupid crap that's only being driven to try to divide. We need to unify and get Americans to want to work hard, to build for themselves, and have awesome families, and have the American dream, have awesome experiences, and feel like, I think at some point, I think you're going to see a lot of these Democrats realize, man, we've been lied to, dude. Like, this isn't happening. They're not rolling out Project 2025. Trump isn't Hitler. And that's what I'm saying. I think that some of these people might start waking up and realizing, you have to be pragmatic. You can't just be like, when you're in politics, you can't just be like, oh, it's going to be like this way all the time. No, you have to be pragmatic and be like, because you're a leader and things change. And you can't just be like, oh, this is the narrative, so we always have to go this way. It's like, no, this doesn't make any sense. We can't use this here. But that's where we need to get these old people out too. Like, these old people are like, they don't have a future. They're going to be dead soon. They're going to die of natural causes. And look what their leadership has led us. Say I'm a hypocrite because of Trump. Go ahead. I'm a hypocrite because of Trump. He's a boomer. When he was in charge, everything was pretty normal, pretty good. Besides the radical left, starting crap all the time. But I think a lot of it's just because people want to get their name out there. They want to get clout. So they just say ridiculous things. And we're going to more of a conservative type, obviously, country. That's the way people voted. And it's not going to always be like this, but it should be, because the conservatives are the parents. And a lot of these leftists haven't had parents. The way that these leftists raise their kids is they pretty much just let them do whatever they want, and they give them whatever they want. So there's no, what is the word I'm looking for? There's no consequences. They don't understand consequences because they're completely spoiled and entitled. They don't know what reality is. The parents are like, probably never had a bedtime for them. Their parents probably, like, anytime they went to the supermarket, their kid wanted something, and if their kid didn't get it, they threw themselves on the ground like a little brat, and then they would just give in. They always give in to their kids, essentially their kids are the ones in charge. And the parents are like the kids. So there's a balance between like being strict, like being overly strict, and just being completely like a noodle, like a wet noodle, where your kids dominate you. Like you're their friend, like you're trying to be cool for your kids or whatever. I don't think that kids respect it that much. So that's where these people are at. That's where the Democratic Party is at. And they need people like me. Like, honestly, if the Democrats were smart, they would try to recruit people like me. Because, one, I'm not that old. I'm not like a 70-year-old man. I'm mid-40s, man. I'm perfect. I'm perfect for politics at this point. So somebody like me would be perfect for them to start reforming their party for the better, and to be more competitive with their. They're gonna have to if they want to compete with the Republicans, because I think that I think the Republicans are gonna do such good work. I'm so confident right now that they're gonna make things so great that they're just gonna completely destroy the Democrats when it comes to voting, anything like that. They're gonna completely annihilate them next election, because everything's gonna be run so well, and people are just gonna be completely impressed of like what Elon does, what Ron Paul does, Vivek, RFK, Trump, obviously, Tulsi. People are just going to be absolutely amazed 2 years from now. And they're going to be like, if the Democrats try to come out with this woke crap again, all this authoritarian, tyrannical crap, they're just going to end up getting mowed over again. And my point, my thing isn't to try to deceive, to try to like, I'm not about like, hey, we're gonna pretend like, you know, we have logic and reason, but we're gonna just like, we're letting the woke just chill out for a second and then we're gonna release it. No, that woke crap needs to be rejected. Dude, if you want to be weird, if you want to do that, go ahead, man. Nobody's stopping you. Live your life. And like I said before, like people who are gay in our society is pretty acceptable, man. Nowadays it's pretty acceptable. So it's pretty much acceptable as like, not in every single pocket of America, obviously, but for the most part, generally speaking, Americans don't want to sit here and kill gay people. They don't want to beat up gay people. You know, it's like, go live your life, dude. There isn't like this hate on gay people like there used to be. I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm saying generally speaking, with the average normal person, they're just kind of like, whatever, man, I don't care. Go do your thing. If that's what you want. So the whole LGBT thing is just kind of pushed in our face too much. You know what I mean? Get away from that. Like, we already accept you, man. Like, seriously. The whole civil rights thing for like black people, like you're accepted, man. Like, you come out here and do great things. Look at all the black people that come out and support MAGA, dude. So like, what are you talking about? Nothing that we can do now can make up for what happened in the past. Impressing me and my kids ain't gonna do nothing. All that's gonna do is cause resentment. So we move forward. And people who want to be bitter, reject a prosperous future for everybody, they need to be ridiculed, shamed, mocked, jeered, and rejected. Completely rejected. We don't want divisiveness. You know, like, joking around is one thing. Joking is one thing, but like, we don't need to be going to no civil war. First off, most people can't even handle it anyway. Most people aren't even prepared for a civil war. Most of us would die, honestly. because everything was shut down. We completely relied too much off of the machine for survival. So when the machine stops, because you'll have a lot of conservatives, and that's what scared me, is like, hey dude, it's more scary for the right to rebel against the government than it is the left. Because the left, like, a lot of these people aren't productive. They don't work. So not a lot, like, the infrastructure will still move forward. However, people like me who, and I'm not saying that like there's not hardworking Democrats. I think that if they actually like stop paying attention to propaganda, they probably agree with a lot of stuff I say, or a lot of stuff that MAGA says. If they didn't buy into all the lies, but for the most part, like, the average regular person just wants to be left alone. They just want to like live their life, man. They don't want to think about all this stupid crap all the time. Like this, it's just like, dude, we have bigger problems to worry about, man. If people are being held back because of how they look, sue. You sue them. Like, if somebody is rejecting you because of your skin color, you just sue them. Like, I want everyone to do good, of all races. And I'm so tired of like everyone being obsessed with race. Can we get past it already? Can we get past like race? Reparations ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Like, that's done. We're not gonna have reparations. We're not gonna give people who haven't been through slavery, who haven't been through Jim Crow laws. I'm not saying like the grandparents. I'm saying like regular people like my age. You're not gonna get reparations, dude. You're not gonna take away from people like me that have never done anything wrong when it comes to black folks or civil rights, never had a slave, and my kids, because you want to steal from me because of some bullshit in the past that nobody agrees with now, unless they're like radical. Build yourself, make yourself better, improve yourself, get yourself out of your horrible situation that you're in. You're gonna have a lot of more opportunities. People are gonna have a lot more opportunities coming forth to like do really good. Like, it'll be worth it. I feel like it'd be more worth it to like work hard now than before. It just didn't feel like it was worth it. So like, we should be working hard to build our future. That's what we should be doing. Working hard to build the future, build the future for America. And another thing with reparations, like, people have come in, like immigrants who've just came here. Why should they have to pay reparations? Oh, that's just gonna be for white people. Like, what? Well, there was also black slave owners here. Like, the first slave owner was a black man. So like, how do you know who deserves reparations and who doesn't? You can give reparations to people because they. What about like if their ancestors were slave masters? They get reparations. You know what I mean? So it's like, it should have. The reparations were the Civil War. That was reparations. 600,000 people died. That was the reparations to end slavery. That was it. If they felt like reparations were needed, they would have given it out a long time ago. We can't live in a society where we're just like, this happened hundreds of years ago, so we're going to make up for it now. No. That has nothing to do with right now. After the Civil War, America was completely broke. So this whole notion of black people built America. Yes, of course, black people are part of our population. They've helped build where we're at right now. But when this whole notion of like, like the South was completely rich, and then like, dude, whatever gains that they had was completely lost because of the Civil War. They used all the resources to fight each other, and they very much started out from square one after that. Of course, you had rich people, of course, but it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We don't need to be divided. We don't need to fight each other. We should all be on the same page. We shouldn't worry about each other's races. We should just worry about putting the best people in office. We should worry about trying to live our best lives as we possibly can. Like I said, I feel very optimistic going forward now. I think the Republicans are going to do a lot of good things. I think we're going to go back to normal. This whole creativity went off a cliff, and hey, if you're creative, man, you might end up getting more notoriety. We're going away from legacy media. Like, mainstream media is pretty much done. At some point it's gonna be gone completely. Cable TV, like, dude, cable TV just seems so, like, it seems like horse and buggy at this point. You know what I mean? I'm driving a Tesla. Like, why would I want to go back to horse and buggy when I have a Tesla? It's just stupid. So yeah, it's just, today is a nice November day in Michigan. A lot of people don't think it is, but a lot of people do think it is. The people who don't think that the future is good for America need to come back down to reality. And I have no problem electing a woman president either. Like, I will, if she's a good one, like Tulsi Gabbard, you know what I mean? I like her. I wouldn't mind her being president. I think she would be an awesome president. She seems pretty strong. She seems pretty stoic. Somebody like a Carrie Lake, strong, smart. But so I'm not, like I said, I'm a liberal, man. I don't like to label myself, but I feel like I have to now. So even though I don't want to, I feel like it needs to be done. Plus, like, I'm always different from everybody else, man. I do my own path. The path I always choose is just me. And eventually, it's like back there. Like, everybody's way back there. Everyone's way back there. They don't know it yet. They're on some other path, but eventually they follow my path because I'm always right. No, I just think in the forward. A lot of people only think about right now. They only think about, it's like, especially like businesses, quarterly profits. They don't think long term. They don't think the ramifications of the consequences long term. So, like, I'm more of a long term thinker, and I don't just think like, right this second. Of course, like, you have to think right now about what happens now to what will happen in the future, the decisions you make now, of course. But a lot of people just think those decisions, especially in the Democrats, it'll fix the problem right now. They don't think, it's going to come up again, unless that's what they want. They want the problem to keep coming up. We don't want that. We want to actually solve problems and get rid of them. Less government, the better.